As you heard, I recently stepped out of my comfort zone to teach middle school. I had been an educator in science for over 20 years, teaching classes at the high school level, specifically biology, anatomy and physiology, biotechnology, and forensics. And after winning the 2023 Connecticut Teacher of the Year award, I voluntarily made the move to teach middle school. Why would I do that? Why take on a new curriculum in a new school with arguably the toughest clientele in education when I was so happy where I was? And it was because I had a tough middle school experience. Many of my colleagues were like, what are you doing? Like, middle school, that's where people go when they're not performing well at the high school level. Like, that's where educational careers go to die. That's what my friend said. I said, no. It's not that. I think I would be really good at middle school. And I got so many people being like, no. But I was like, no, I gotta go. I have to be there. When I was in middle school, it was tough, which I'm sure it was tough for many of us, right? I remember being stuck between wanting to be an adult so badly, I know the glasses, but still wanting to be a little kid at the same time. I also remember the excitement and wonder of my first real science class. I loved learning and discovery. I was so engrossed in it that I forgot all about my bullies and my insecurities and my stresses. I got messy in science. I was supposed to get messy in science, and I loved every minute of it. And so I wanted to be the adult who got to do that for a student like me. I was really excited to go to middle school and do that, become that adult for other young girls and boys. And so I went to middle school, and I realized quickly that I also needed to be there to teach them something else, and that's about failure. You see, before 6th grade, all of my students had, not all of them, but most of them had earned top grades. They held trophies high, their artwork was celebrated, their poems were lauded. People told them they were so perfect and so wonderful, and they were gonna do such great things, and they were so perfect, and I'm so proud of you. And people let them win at a lot of things. And then they came to middle school, and that was a lot different for them. And so I had to teach them about failure. And I found that it was really, really important to their well-being to do that. I would say, look, if you haven't failed yet, get ready. It's coming. You are going to fail, but it's okay. It is not the end for you. And you're in really good company. So many people have failed. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first TV job. Robert Downey Jr. was given up as a lost cause in acting, and then he suited up for Iron Man. Lady Gaga, the Beatles, and Jay-Z were all cut from their labels at least once. Thomas Edison was told he was too stupid to learn anything. That's a quote. You're too stupid to learn anything. Bill Gates and Charles Darwin dropped out of college. Beyonce lost on Star Search. Beyonce, Queen Bee, okay? Harrison Ford was told he'd never make it in the business. Steve Jobs, Dr. Seuss, Soichiro Honda, Marilyn Monroe, Albert Einstein, Vera Wang, 50 Cent, all failures. But my personal favorite failure is Bills quarterback Joshua Patrick Allen. You see, Josh Allen got 0 offers to play college football after high school. His senior year in high school, he got 0 offers. So he went to junior college, community college, for a couple of years. And in his first year there, he sent over 1,000 emails to coaches and universities across the country. And how many offers did he get? 1. One offer from the University of Wyoming. Let's cut to 2018, where he is drafted 7th overall as a quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. 2021, his contract is renewed for $258 million. Go Bills. Oh, sorry, I don't know how that got there. My bad. Go Bills. Okay. But I teach my students that you will fail. Joshua Patrick Allen was a failure, and you will be too. So own it, know it, get ready for it, so that when you do fail, you can pick yourself up. You need to learn to put that failure behind you so you can move forward. It is through our failure that we learn so much about ourselves, our capabilities, and the world around us. I try to teach my students that it is okay to fail, and that I'm a failure too. But it is what you do with that failure that determines who you are. You have to find perseverance and courage to take a new path, look at something differently, try something new on your journey to becoming who you were meant to really be. And so I teach my students not to stop here. This is a sentence that should not end with a period. It's not a complete sentence. You need to add a comma instead. You need to say, I failed, but then I. Let me explain. Using myself, of course, as an explanation. You need to add those 3 words to continue your story. It is not the end for you. I went to college as an elementary education major, and I learned real quick that I was not equipped to deal with the littles. Way too sarcastic, okay? Is that the end of my sentence? Is that the end of my journey? No, comma. But then I changed my major to biology. You see, I went back to the safety of science. I'm like, let me step it back. And I went to science. Now, biology was a hard major, and you better believe I struggled. I failed a few organic chemistry tests. Not the end of my sentence. But then I sought help from my professors, reached out to my peers and fellow classmates, and I graduated with that biology degree. Thank you. I still wanted to be an educator, but I was flat broke. But then I worked 3 jobs for 2 years and grinded it out to go to graduate school with minimal loans. You see, I use each step along the way to make myself better, and comma, but then I had an accident and broke the 5th vertebra in my neck, my cervical vertebra, which is a totally different TED Talk. We'll do that another time. But that was not the end of my sentence. Through that major accident, I learned how precious life is and how grateful I am to be here, standing, walking, talking, breathing on my own. I'm a very lucky girl. I was in a toxic relationship, but then I realized I'm worth better. I sought help, I got out of there, and I realized I'm pretty freaking awesome. Hey-o. And now I am happily married, and my husband and I have 2 happy and healthy sons. I applied in my district for District Teacher of the Year, and my application was passed over. But then I took the time, improved my craft, reapplied a few years later, and I went on to be a finalist in my district. And I lost again. But then I reapplied the next year, and I ended up winning the top honor for my district, won Connecticut State Teacher of the Year, and then I ended up going on to become a National Teacher of the Year finalist. But I lost that too. But then I realized I am so lucky I get to stay in my classroom and help other students and teachers in my district. So you see, it's really important for us to teach our students that failure can and will happen. I'm not saying you can't celebrate them and tell them how wonderful they are, because we have to do that. We have to build them up, but we also have to teach them what to do if they fail, because they will fail. They are going to fail. It's not an if thing. It's when they fail. They have to know that they need to continue to grow and develop and move on. It is what you do with that failure that makes you who you are. So you can be a failure, I teach them, but you just cannot stay one. And I know there are times when you need to sit in that failure and kind of stew in it and plan and think about what to do next, and that is okay. You can be a failure, but you just can't stay one. You can't let it rot. That stewing cannot rot inside of you. You have to be able to ask, okay, now what? I failed, now what? Or what is this teaching me? How can I do better? And more importantly, who can help me if I cannot help myself? And so that is something that we, I feel, need to teach our students, that they will fail. But it is what they do with it. They have to keep going. They have to persevere. They have to embrace that failure if they're going to move on. They are going to fail. But then they are going to figure out what to do, how to persevere, how to have that grit in order to reach the greatest potential that they have. Thank you.